Still to come, he served our country, then struggled at home.
I was in big trouble.
The one-of-a-kind place he turned to save his life.
Welcome back. This morning in our ongoing series, Grit, one veteran's journey to take his life back.
After more than 2 decades in the Army, Teddy Lanier struggled when he returned home and his life spiraled.
Then came the decision he says saved him. He asked for help, and he found the support that he needed from a very special place. Teddy Lanier spent 22 years in the Army, serving as a Green Beret in Special Forces.
I had reached a point in my career where I'd accomplished just about everything I had wanted to accomplish.
He was deployed 5 times to Iraq and Afghanistan. When he retired from the Army, Teddy says civilian life became challenging.
Coming home was difficult at times. I think we managed relatively well as a family. However, I didn't manage very well.
Teddy suffered from post-traumatic stress, and he chose all the wrong tools to deal with it.
I became dependent upon drugs and alcohol, not only to deal with the average normal day stressors but also dealing with unprocessed trauma that I didn't know how to deal with.
Years of those addictions took its toll until February of 2017, when something changed for Teddy.
For the first time in 30 years, I couldn't do my job. I was in big trouble. And at that moment in time, I knew if I don't get a handle on this, I will not live to see another day.
He reached out to a place called Warrior's Heart, a treatment center for first responders and veterans seeking help.
You know, I've never, in all my 47 years, had never heard the voice of an angel until I called Warrior's Heart. And they told me, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna bring you home.
Without them, Teddy says he wouldn't be here.
I'd be dead. Make no mistake about it.
Hey, Teddy. Welcome home, baby.
Teddy credits his counselor at the center for his recovery, Vonnie Nealon.
I'm so glad to see you.
Good to see you home. A client can walk in and within a couple of hours, they have a family.
Teddy has been in recovery for 22 months and now wants to pay it forward.
There's absolutely nothing I won't do within my power to help the next person, period.
We are joined this morning by Teddy Lanier and Vonnie Nealon, both here. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service, and thank you for coming to share your story this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Said a few years ago you were at rock bottom. You're at your breaking point. How did you know you were there? What did that look like?
You know, it was just a time. As every other day I woke up and get ready to go to work, and I talk about how I was untouchable in my profession, but a train wreck in my personal life. And I just woke up one morning and I was tired. And I talk about it wasn't sleepy tired, it was just something off. And at that moment, I knew something was wrong. I went on to work, talked to a dear friend of mine, Dave. We kind of had some choice words, or good choice words, and he gave me some words of support. And I kind of went on throughout the day and was going to do some shooting and working with some of the guys that I work with. And stroke my gun, couldn't pull the trigger. For the first time in my life, I couldn't do my job. And I knew right then and there that professional life that I talk about, where I was untouchable, finally had collided with that personal life, the one I kept hidden from everybody. And when it collided, I knew that was it. It was the dying process had started.
So when you hit rock bottom like that, I'd imagine it's overwhelming to take that next step. Did you see yourself being able to turn your life around?
You know, throughout the course of my active addiction, no. I'd thought about it, but I thought to myself, the claws were sunk into, there's no hope for me. The only way out is to die. And to pick up that phone was probably we talk about the 10,000-pound phone, right? I mean, it was the heaviest thing I've ever had to pick up. But something just clicked in me, and I thought, if I'm going to live, let's put as much effort in trying to live as I did in my profession, as opposed to the lack of attention to detail, if you will, that I'd put into my personal life for so many years.
Talk to us about Warrior's Heart and what it did for you, and how did they help you?
The great thing about Warrior's Heart is the first thing they tell you, and I'm telling you, I was a train wreck when I showed up. Despite all that, the first thing they do is they look you straight in the eye and they tell you, welcome home. And, you know, for a guy like me, I had been home, and I lived in a box. And that's not a negative reflection on friends and family. That was me. I was in a box in my heart and in my soul. And it was work. I mean, it was intensive one-on-one substance abuse therapy, counseling, trauma therapy, group. I mean, it was very intense. And what they did was they gave me the tools to live. And
Vonnie, you've got a facility that specializes in vets and first responders. Why?
Because in a facility like ours, they literally build a tribe, and they do it the minute they get there. When we welcome them home, we're welcoming them back into a world that they know, they recognize. They're together. We can't put somebody like Teddy and put him into a treatment center for 20-year-olds who have no clue of where he's been or what he's been through. We can't do that to a police officer either. To put them in a treatment center where they're with probably people they've arrested, they cannot get recovery there. They can't talk. They can't share. Our facility has taken this warrior class, and we've given them a home, and we specialize our work with them. Everything we do is geared around not only the addiction, but also the PTSD, all the trauma that they've walked through. A lot of them have co-occurring disorders, but we just give them a home. And so they walk onto the property, they're welcomed home. And what we're trying to do is bring 1 million warriors home.
I was going to ask you, because I know there's a cost to it. How do you make that viable to those who need it?
Well, we are a private facility. We also have a foundation that works with us, the Warriors Heart Foundation. We work with numerous organizations that donate money to help us bring people home. And Teddy had a private donor who literally paid for his treatment.
Yes, I had a gentleman that, a gentleman by the name of Jeff Cole, who I spoke to in the green room. There was another mutual friend of ours that decided that what I had found initially wasn't good enough, and that I wanted to go to Warriors Heart, and he stepped forward and said, "You're welcome, Pack. It'll be here in a couple of days." So, you know, I mean, had it not been for him, we wouldn't be sitting here today. I mean, you know, the dying process had started, and both spiritually and physically. And, you know, Jeff Kolb stepped in and said, "No, absolutely not." Him and a gentleman by the name of Tom Satterley, they're like, "Absolutely not. You deserve the best. We're going to take care of you."
So glad you're here.
You're giving me chills, and I'm hoping that somebody at home listening, you'll give them that spark to go ahead and pick up the phone.
And I always say, who am I to keep this gift to myself? There's absolutely nothing I will not do to pass this on to the next person to save as many lives as I can.
Vonnie, thank you. Teddy, thank you.
Thank you.
So happy you got your life back. So happy you came in
Thank you for having me.
and shared that story. We will be right back.